Hi guys, welcome to CE2 Class 3, and the topic is speaking practice for standardized English tests such as the TOEIC, TOEFL, and IELTS. Make sure you print a handout or grab the handout, watch the handout on the tablet or another device, and follow along this video. Let's go! So some basic information about the test, TOEIC, IELTS, and the TOEFL. The TOEFL is definitely geared towards academic study in the United States. So if you plan on studying abroad in the US, they're likely going to ask you for a TOEFL score. If you want to study abroad in the UK or a British Commonwealth nation, they're probably going to ask you to submit an IELTS score. If you're interested in working for a company that uses English, they're probably going to ask you for a TOEIC score, which is geared towards working in English. These are roughly equivalent scores across the three tests. So, for example, 100 in the TOEFL, 9 IELTS, and the TOEIC above a 780. That's kind of the highest score that you can get. All right, and just to reiterate, if you're interested in studying abroad, these are the minimum scores required. So let's actually start with the TOEIC speaking test. Again, this is going to measure a bit more general English with an emphasis on business type of situations. There are 11 speaking questions, and it lasts about 20 minutes. And the 11 questions are basically 5 different types. We're going to go through some of these questions so you can get a sense of it, and I'll actually have you try along. So get ready to hit your pause and unpause button so you can try some of these tasks. All right, let's try type 1, which is basically you have to read a text. So you're going to see a text, a paragraph on the screen, and you have to read it. This measures your pronunciation, intonation, and your knowledge of vocabulary. So typically you'll have 45 seconds to prepare and then 45 seconds to read. So go ahead and you can time yourself. Pause the video now. You can use 45 seconds with your timer to read it silently, and then 45 seconds to actually read it out loud. While you're preparing, what I suggest you should do is you should look at key words that you should emphasize, like important words within the sentence. When you come across these words, you should slow down, say them more loudly and clearly. Okay? So go ahead and try this task by yourself. You can time yourself, and when you unpause it, I'll give you a sample answer. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and then unpause it when you are finished. Okay, so this is a sample answer. This is how I would do it. When you're studying, working a part-time job, and completing assignments, college life can seem impossible. To avoid student stress, come to the University Wellness and Health Center. Upon arriving, you'll be encouraged to move your body. With its various courts, swimming pool, and many indoor sports, the center is the ideal place to release stress. The Wellness and Health Center can also provide personal consultations to every student. Our vision has always been a healthy student is a happy student. Okay, so something like that. Now, TOEFL Type 2 task is basically to describe a picture. 30 seconds to prepare, 45 seconds to speak. So, what should you do when you have to describe a photo? 3 steps. First, summarize the photo in 1 sentence. So just talk about what you see. Is it inside, it's outside? What is the general scene? Next, you can talk about individual parts or sections of a photo. For instance, in the center, there's a man buying fruits. In the top of the photo, there are lights. Okay, something like that. So you talk about individual parts or sections of a photo. The third step is to guess about the meaning. So you can think about what is the meaning of the scene. So if you have time, it's good to include this. It's really important to use all 45 seconds when you, in any of these speaking tasks, really. Use all the time that you have. All right, so let's take a look at this photo here. Why don't you try it yourself? So Give yourself 30 seconds to prepare, look at the photo, and then 45 seconds to speak. All right, pause the video now and then unpause it when you are finished with the task. Okay, so this is basically how I would do it. So here's a sample answer. This is a photo of an accident scene outside during the daytime along a downtown road, probably in the United States or some other English-speaking country. On the left side of the photo is a police motorcycle with one policeman in a white shirt wearing sunglasses and black pants, bending over and grabbing something from the motorcycle. In the center of the photo is an overturned SUV type of vehicle. Looks like it's a Ford. And behind that, on the right side of the photo, is an ambulance, a white ambulance. There is nobody inside. This is a very scary photo, and I think it shows the danger of highway driving or driving downtown, or maybe driving in the United States. Please notice that first sentence I summarized basically what the scene was. Second part, I used directional language on the left, in the center, on the right. And then in the last part, I kind of guessed about what the meaning could be. If you don't make it to step 3, that's okay, but if you have extra time, it's a really good step to include because it shows that you're thinking deeply about the photo. So again, when you do make it to part 2, when you're describing the parts, here's directional language that you can use. In the upper left, on the top, in the center, in the background, in the foreground, okay? So try to use these steps when you describe a photo. Let's move on to TOEFL Type 3, which is basically you're going to respond to a question, 3 questions. You're going to hear a voice, a narrator, and they're going to explain a situation, and then you're going to see 3 questions. So I want you guys to try it. All right, so you're going to hear a voice, and then you're going to have 15 seconds, 15, 15, 30. Okay, so you'll hear a voice like this. Imagine that a Canadian marketing firm is doing research in your country. You have agreed to participate in a telephone interview about television viewing. Question 1. How often do you watch television? Question 2. What kinds of programs do you usually watch? Question 3. Describe your favorite television program. So in this case, you have to basically respond to the question within the given time frame. Okay, type 4 of the TOEIC again. You're going to be given a flyer or some other kind of information, and then you have to respond to the information. So you're given about 30 seconds to study the flyer, and then you have to respond by speaking to the 3 questions, 15 seconds each. All right? So go ahead, you can respond to this. I think the answers are pretty straightforward, so it's not really necessary for me to give you a model answer. So go ahead and try that. And when you're ready, we can move on to type 5. Let's move on to type 5, which is to solve a business problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to hear like a phone message from a customer who's has a problem or is complaining. I believe on your worksheet it's about a customer who's having trouble with an ATM. So what I suggest here is you can use some set phrases, a set pattern. In this case, it's 4 set phrases that you can read here, from greetings all the way to closings. Okay, so for instance, go ahead, you can read the handout and notice the model answer there. And then when you're done with that, let's try a sample problem here. Okay, in this case, it's for a clothing company. A customer is calling with a problem. So let's hear the issue.
This is Devi Patel. I'm calling about an order I placed online. I received a package from your company this morning. Anyway, I opened the box because I thought it was mine. However, after I opened it, I noticed that it was not my order at all. Instead of t-shirts, gym shoes were inside. However, actually I really like the shoes and they actually fit. I'm going on a vacation and they will look nice with my outfits. So I'm wondering if I could keep the shoes. Is it possible to cancel the shirts order and simply charge me the difference in price? Again, this D. Viper tailored 5557175. Thanks.
Okay, so I hope you could catch that. Go ahead and try a model answer and pause it. Unpause it when you're ready to hear my sample answer. Here's my model answer. Hello, Mr. Devi Patel. This is Joaquim Castellano working for Wakiklo. Thank you for your call. From what I understand, our company sent you shoes when you in fact ordered t-shirts. We really apologize for that error. However, I understand that you'd like to cancel your t-shirt order and keep the shoes, as you said that it looks good, looks nice with your outfits. So our company can definitely accommodate your request. We will cancel the t-shirt order and give you credit for the gym shoes. So you don't have to do anything. You can keep the shoes as you requested. If you have any questions, feel free to call Wakiklo. My name is Joaquim. Thank you very much for your business, and goodbye, Mr. Patel. I hope you have a very nice day. Okay, so that's a sample answer for that type of problem. All right. Moving on to the TOEFL speaking test. So again, this is more academic in nature, and honestly, I think it's the most difficult. So it will require a lot of practice and preparation in order to be successful. Okay, so what's unique about this test is that it integrates both a reading passage and a listening passage, and then you have to share your answer via speaking. So I think that's what makes it most challenging, especially in task 3 and task 4 of the TOEFL. Okay, so task 1 and task 2 should be easy enough for you. Okay, so it includes many drills that we already do in CE1 and CE2. This is including, talking about familiar topics and expressing your opinion. Okay, so let's take a look at practice task number 1. So you'll only have 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to produce an answer. Take a look at your handout. There's a bit more explanation there. But this task is designed to get you comfortable in speaking, and it's something that you should definitely be able to talk about, whether it's your favorite place, something from your hometown, something familiar to you. All right, so go ahead and try it. Think of your favorite place, and I want you guys to describe it. 45 seconds is your time limit, all right? So go ahead and try that by yourselves. Pause the video and then unpause it when you want to hear my sample answer. My favorite place is a fast food restaurant in Japan called Caesarea. I really enjoy it because I can eat various types of Italian food, from spaghetti to penne to even buffalo wings. They have a great drink bar, and you can pay less than $2 to drink as many soft drinks as you like. They even have a lunch menu that you can enjoy during lunch hours, basically from 11 to 3 o'clock. This includes either a meat dish, a pasta dish, and it's very affordable. I recommend you to try Caesarea if you like Italian food. You won't regret it. Okay, so there's my sample answer, 45 seconds. Okay? Now, the next task, you have to offer an opinion. What's key here is that you have to give some reasons to support your answer. Now, if you're a beginner student, you might say something like, I like trains because, one, and because two, right? So that's basically some simple English. What you want to do is what I suggest here is you want to mention both options, and you want to use phrases like first of all, secondly, and in addition. So these words will make your answer seem a lot more sophisticated. All right, so go ahead and try the answer yourself, and then pause the video. When you're finished, unpause it, and you can hear my sample answer. Although planes are faster than trains, traveling by train is more relaxing for me. First of all, I don't have to arrive 3 hours before the time of departure if I use a plane. On the train, I can arrive maybe 10 minutes before my departure time, so I don't have to wake up early and I don't have to rush to the airport. Secondly, I can enjoy the scenery of a train, especially viewing through a window. I don't have to get anxious that I'm up in the air. I'm close to the ground, so I don't get afraid of flying. The next task 3 and 4, it's a little bit more difficult because, again, you have to integrate reading something as well as listening to a lecture and then speaking, sharing your answer through a speaking prompt. So go ahead and read this. You'll have 45 seconds to read this passage. So the topic is noise pollution, right? That it's a major problem for the cities. Did you notice that there were two solutions that were mentioned? Well, one is going to be technology and one is through education. All right. Now you're going to listen to a lecture and see what the connection is between the reading and the lecture.
Yes, so as I was saying earlier, noise pollution is often ignored by city officials. There are, however, many things that can be done to decrease noise in cities. Quiet asphalt is one new technology that can reduce traffic noise. Quiet asphalt has small particles of rubber mixed with the asphalt. Using this material to build streets can reduce street sounds by 20%. Another solution is to train drivers to stop their engines while waiting at traffic lights. This not only reduces noise, but lowers air pollution as well.
Okay, and then you have to explain these two approaches when you provide an answer. And you have to give this answer in under 60 seconds, okay? So, for instance, one prompt or one pattern that you can use is this one, right? So, you basically summarize, give a point, and then talk about the example. All right, so go ahead and try your example. Give yourself 60 seconds, and feel free, you can use the prompt. So the content provided explains a problem of cities, and that is noise pollution. Two approaches are offered. One is through technology. Technology that the professor mentioned includes quiet asphalt. Quiet asphalt basically contains small particles which reduces noise. The other approach that the professor mentioned deals with education. So education programs that the professor mentioned in particular was driving education programs where drivers turn off their engines at stoplights, thereby reducing the noise. Finally, the IELTS. So the IELTS, again, is popular with British countries or countries related to Britain. Um, this test is unique in that for the speaking test, you're not going to deal with the computer. You're actually going to have a human, a test examiner. Okay, there are three parts to it. It generally takes between 12 to 15 minutes. So for part one is just basically a short introduction and interview. You're going to have questions that you should be able to respond to, similar to the TOEFL. You're going to have to talk about your work or your school, maybe a hobby or your job. So these are questions that you should easily be able to respond to. Part two is an individual long turn. So the examiner is going to give you a question and you have to respond to it um, with an experience from your life. Okay, so this is going to be similar to our midterm project where you have to tell a personal anecdote. And to see a video sample of the IELTS speaking part 2, please refer to the links section of your PDF document. The last part is part 3, and you're going to be given another topic that's will be related to the previous section, and the examiner will engage in a one-on-one discussion with you. So it's really important to listen carefully to the question And whenever you provide an answer, you should be able to back it up with some reason, support, or evidence. So, for instance, if the topic of part 2 was my favorite high school class, I can expect that in part 3 I'll have similar questions related to education or school in part 3. And these questions will be challenging. You have to, provide your opinion with some reasoning, evidence, or examples. It's difficult to practice this part of the IELTS test without a partner, so I suggest you watch a video. I'm going to provide some links in the PDF document. That's it for this week's video. Good luck on any speaking test that you might be taking soon.